good deal, so I bought it. Put your house on Airbnb. It is extremely expensive. There's no paper towels. Like, go get some, girl. Go to the store. Okay, I'm cool. I've made my easy money. I want the equity. Then you sell it.
The U.S. has the most amount of real estate agents, smart homes, 30% faster than regular homes.
You don't need a spouse to buy a house.
Never buy where you live until you own enough assets.
I regret buying a house. I regret it a lot. I encourage you to really think about it.
Hey guys, welcome back to More to Life. Now, before I get into this video, I ask that you like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get right into this. I understand that. I remember when I was young, seeing my mother growing up, buying her first home, and then soon after, realizing the worst mistake she made in her life. Why? Because even back then, when I was young, I'm talking about I had to be 16 years old, my mom, probably around 30s, bought her home, headaches, disaster. That's when I first realized buying a home when you're not ready to invest money is backwards. But let's see how they tell it.
Did you know that single women own 2.71 million more homes in America than single men? That's crazy. Especially considering that women couldn't even get a mortgage by themselves until 1974. This has been a busy 50 years, I guess. Period.
Did you know that more single women own homes compared to single men? Real estate statistics. We'll be trying to do everything possible to own a home. On another fun statistic is that the U.S. has the most amount, 30% faster than regular homes. Dodge that has a Tesla charger. The leading firms bought 44% of the total homes for. So if they continue down this trajectory, single family homes in America.
You see what she said? Guys should get homes to attract a partner. Why would a guy do that? Like, with the way things are nowadays, why would a guy get a home to attract a partner? That would be the worst thing any man could do in his life. Think about it. Women are buying homes, right? So a guy gets a home to attract a partner. What kind of home does he need to buy? Come on now. You guys know what I'm saying. He needs to buy a mansion, 17-car garage. They want the light, they want the bells and whistles, all the upgrades with the airport, with the plane lifter. You gotta have the helicopter. Seriously, you gotta have all of that to go with the home. That's what's happening. More monsters being created, while guys are saying, "I'm going to exit over here." I saw it coming, guys. I saw this coming.
Single women own 2.71 million more homes in the United States than single men. So to all of you ladies who would love to have a home, you don't need a spouse to buy a house.
The agenda keeps pushing it. You notice how happily they're saying this. They're bringing themselves in more debt. And then they realize they don't want it after a couple of years, after they get some problems. And they keep saying it. Why is everything such a competition? Men are not trying to compete. Men don't want to compete with you. We say it every time, video after video. We love you. We admire you. We want to hug you. We think you smell great. We think you look pretty. And you do this.
I had such an exciting closing today for a client who has been looking for a home for over 2 years, finally found her dream home and closed. And I got to say, after 23 years as a mortgage lender, in 2024, single women are killing the game. They're making their own money, they're buying their own homes, and it's pretty awesome to watch. Over 3 million more homes are owned by single women than single men in 2024. Why don't you chew on that for a minute?
We do not care.
And it's also changing how people are taking title. I've seen friends buy homes together. Nobody is shameful about being single or buying homes with a friend because you never know where life's going to take you, and you might as well start building wealth now. It is expensive, so to pool your money with a friend or multiple friends is happening more and more also. But shout out to the single women. I see you, I am you, and I am here for it.
Hey, did you know, according to Forbes, that single women are more likely to buy a property than single men? It went into some detail, but I have a theory. We as women, we get paid less than men, right? Don't care. Comment trash in the comments, I'm good. Just keep rolling along. But the truth is, we as women, we make less than men, right? We are the lesser according to, I don't know, let's say history. We are more likely to buy a house, and here's my theory why. We are also very stubborn, and we also want to prove ourselves, right? Even if we make less money, but we make enough, we're gonna have everything we want. We're gonna have the house, we're gonna have the car, we're gonna have the things, right? By our own accord. So whether you wanna call it ego, stubborn, whatever you wanna call it, we're gonna pave our own path.
When your girl bossed too hard and bought a house by yourself, so you have to cut the grass in 100-degree weather every 2 weeks. And this is a wild thing about this, right? Men don't want to see you struggle. Men don't congratulate your pain, right? Like if a man goes out and, as you would like to say, like to equate it to what we're doing, run a 100-yard touchdown pass, right? We don't throw it in your face. Why? Because we're just enjoying it. That's what we're doing. So I don't understand why every time a single play is made, right, that it's congratulated. That's like, men don't do that. As a man, when I grew up, I was congratulated when I was a boy. It made me confident enough. But when I became a man, that went away. And men are used to it. Men welcome it. That's why I am happy now they're starting to push back on a no-fault divorce. Do I believe there's some situations where some women should get it? Yeah, there's abuse all the time. But as much as you want to make it seem like you're struggling, it's crazy. It's nonsensical. And guys are getting tired of arguing.
Transparency post. I regret buying a house. I regret it a lot. If I could go back to January 2022, I would tell that girl, do not. Just find another apartment to move into, because doing all this shit I have to do for this house and all the unexpected costs, high dollar unexpected costs that I keep running into, to be handling it by myself, is so to all you young women who want to go out and buy a home, I encourage you to really, really think about it. Talk to some people and really see the ins and outs. I mean, it always sounds good. Oh yeah, your mortgage is only going to be $1,000 until they reevaluate your property taxes, and that is $200. You know, it's trash. 85 degrees, your AC is going to go out. You don't want to know how much that costs. It's trash.
And it's so true. Now, those problems, they come consistently. Now, I will say this. I know some women are on top of their game as far as when there's a situation, they have the money to take care of it. Not all women are going to be downtrodden and in need when a problem arises. But what she's saying, the overall gist of her message is that a home is a real problem. And what she's saying, and I believe she's right, I know she's right, a lot of women aren't thinking about those issues when they buy a home. Now, if you factor in all of the women and say maybe half, I would say that's probably more than likely. I see videos every day and pictures every day of women saying, I got my first home, I'm 21 years old. I got my first home, I'm 25 years old. There's a lot of young women buying homes, and I don't believe all of them have factored that in yet. So that's something to think on with this big home push that's happening, right? It's done for a reason. This big feminist push is being done for a reason. It's all done for what? For dollars. And them pushing buying homes the way they're doing and the way the market is right now, that's exactly what they're doing.
Buying a house is not just a pragmatic decision. It's romantic. It's a heart and mind kind of thing. Don't tell the other accountants I'm saying this, but don't berate yourself. You fell in love with a lemon. At least you'll develop some plumbing and electrical skills, and that'll be handy.
Serious question. Who is homeownership for? Because the more I hear about it, the more it's not it. I just got done with a conversation with a family member who mentioned that their house went up in value, which is not a good thing because now their taxes on their home is equating to $833 a month. Keep in mind, this family member has paid off their home. They have done their due diligence. They have worked their butt off. Their mortgage is gone. They don't have a mortgage. And they are still owing the government $833 a month. Or guess what? The government can take their home. So home ownership to me is just sounding like fancy rent because you're indefinitely paying literally rent, $833 a month just to keep your property. That does not make me want to work hard to buy a home. That sounds like a literal scam. I'd rather give my money to a landlord and have a lot less headaches than give my money to the government for the same reason.
You said a home is a terrible investment. Isn't that kind of ironic?
It is a terrible investment. There's nothing good about it. Doesn't cash flow. You don't get big tax write-offs because of it. You have no leverage. You're living in it. You're paying for it. Even when the loan's paid, you still got to pay property taxes. Still got to insure it. Still got to maintain it. People get emotional about their house. This is my house. It ain't your house. You're a partner in this house with the state.
So your recommendation to a normal family would be to rent?
Never buy a house, man. Rent. I'm not saying don't own real estate. I'm saying take all the money that you would have spent on that house and invest in real estate that cash flows, that pays you every month. Could be retail, storage, could be land. If you're a farmer or a rancher and you know how to get cows to a cash flow, then do that.
Buying a house is the worst mistake I've ever made, and it made me realize that homeownership is a scam. And
okay, I feel especially entitled to speak about this because I am a homeowner who hates being a homeowner. And I've done all the things that people are going to recommend for you to do. And I just want to give you my opinion on it. I bought my house in 2020. And she was an older home. Okay. I was a first time home buyer. I was like really excited because homeownership, the American dream. And I was buying at like the best rates. I didn't even know what that meant, but they were like, these are the lowest rates in history. And people were like, this is a good deal. So I bought it. At the time when I bought it, I had a boyfriend who was living with me. And he was a really handy guy. And I was just like, oh, well, all the things that need to be fixed, he can just fix. He's a man. But then he left me. And so I was in that house, just me. And I'm not handy, okay, at all. Like I can barely screw in a light bulb kind of thing. So then things were breaking all the time and I had to hire somebody to come fix it all the time. And I was like, damn, this is expensive. And I can't really afford this. Like I can't afford, and I was making good money at this time. I can't afford to own this home, maintain this home, and then also keep my sanity. I can't do that. So after about a year, which was always the original plan, I put the house on Airbnb. When I put the house on Airbnb, I sublet an apartment. So if this is something that is available to you, I would 100% recommend to do this. My first month, all I wanted to do was just break even. I was like, if I could just break even, then I will continue to do this. And I won't have to be paying like a mortgage and rent. Not only did I break even, but I actually profited that month. That first month it was on Airbnb, and it was only on Airbnb for 3 weeks. Now, here are some things that people do not realize when you say like, put your house on Airbnb. It is extremely expensive. I have a three bedroom house with 2 living rooms, a pool. I needed so much furniture. So just going in on the Airbnb was probably around like $5,000, right? Which is, again, I know a lot of money, but I made that in like 2 months. I made my money back in like 2 months. Okay. So Airbnb is definitely great, but I understand there are HOAs and requirements with your mortgage. So I was in my house for at least a year before I was able to rent it out. My Airbnb journey was great, like for the first 6 months. But then of course, because things were breaking when I was living there, things were breaking even more when other people who do not live there were hanging out and their kids were there. It was definitely like a really kid friendly home and they were just breaking stuff left and right. And I was just like, you know what? This ain't even worth it. Okay. And they were like texting me all the time about stuff like, there's no paper towels. Like, go get some, girl. Go to the store. So anyways, I got a property manager, and the property manager was able to like manage all that stuff, but then you have to give them 20%. And not to say that they're not working for it, but eventually I was just like, you know what? I don't even know if this is worth it. And I felt like Airbnb wasn't going to be as popular the next year. So I pulled it off Airbnb. I said, I'm going to live there for a year, fix things up, and then I'll rent it again, either on Airbnb or a long-term rental. But girl, I lived in it for a year, and it really like sucked the happiness and joy from me. I put so much money into this house. I wasn't even fixing it up. I was just living there. I spent so much money because there was always like a water problem, an electricity problem, some furniture that's breaking, some appliance that's breaking. And I did get a home warranty, which I would absolutely 100% recommend. But a home warranty does not mean that you're not having to pay for the appliances when they are fixed. They're just at a discounted rate. I didn't realize that either when I got the home warranty. But I have everything. I wish that was something that I would have done when I first moved in. It would have saved me so much money. So in about July of last year, I was just like, oh my God, this is it. I can't do this anymore. I'm selling this house. And it was like a really hard decision for me because just like you, I felt like this guilt, like, oh my God, I am selling my house. Most people can't even afford a house. Like, I'm being so ungrateful. All I got to do is put a little work in it. But I'm telling you, like, I was bleeding money. Like one month I got a water bill for $4,000, and they would not turn my water back on until I paid it in full. They didn't do a payment arrangement, nothing. They wanted that money in hand. And they're like, oh, it's probably a leak. It wasn't. No one to this day, I still don't know what happened, but I needed my water back on. So $4,000, like literally just out of my account, gone, wasted. So I put my house on the market. In order to prepare to put my house on the market, I put about $15,000 into my house, okay? Which is a lot of money. The house is on the market. I'm doing more renovations, another $10,000. So I moved out. Obviously, this is not the house I'm talking about. I'm renting now. I'm renting a townhouse. I'm paying the same amount now in my townhouse than I am a mortgage. That's another thing. I have so many things. They say when you buy a house, like your mortgage is going to stay the same. It's a fixed rate, right? Cool. I got a fixed rate. My mortgage was $2,500. That was with insurance and property taxes. Now, $3,200 a month. Because no, the mortgage is the same. The payment is the same. It's the insurance. It's the property taxes. That's what's different. No one told me that. I thought I was going to be paying $2,500 for the rest of my life. Anyway, so I had to put another $25,000 in the house to sell it. So it's just an FYI. I would not, even with all that, I would not sell my house at a loss. I just wouldn't. It's just not a good decision. If you were, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm never telling anyone what to do ever. But if you were to put your house on Airbnb or rent it out, which I know is going to be work. I get it. And it sucks. It is work. But it is quite literally the easiest money you'll ever make. The easiest. Get a property manager. You don't have to deal with it anymore. Go rent something. Get a sublet if you don't want to be like tied to a rent and a mortgage until like you have like a long-term renter or something. But the easiest money you will ever make, and you will be able to just like relax, especially if you get a property management company. And then after 2 years, after 3 years, if you're like, okay, I'm cool, I've made my easy money, I want the equity, then you sell it, right? That's what I would recommend. In my experience, I feel like that would be the best thing to do versus, oh, I'm just going to sell it at a loss. Like to me, and I went through a lot with my house, and I hate being a homeowner. But I think that out of all the things would be a decision that 10 years from now, I know I would have regretted so much. But anyways, if you ever want to complain, you want to vent, you just want to talk about how much home ownership sucks, DM me. Because I can talk about it all day, as y'all can see.
So that's it there, guys. They're talking about it in disgust and they hate it. And I understand because I saw it firsthand myself. But I say this. Guys are carrying things on a different playing field. Guys are more so thinking like this.
Never buy where you live until you own enough assets that can look after so many things around you and otherwise. then buy where you live. So right now, I don't own where I live. I live in a 5-bed detached property, £3,000. The cost of running the house is another £1,000. So it cost me about £4,000 to run where I live. The cheapest property on where I live is 1.2 million. I've created a business that pays for that £4,000 cost. And I work from home. In new market now, there's 100% mortgage on the take advantage of that, by the way.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Then that's fine. You have to cost you 20%, 15% deposit to buy where you live, and that's like £100,000.
You see that? The same thing you saw Grant Cardone say, the same thing you saw this man say. Men are looking more so at buying investment properties because it makes total sense. We're not thinking about what this one said or what this person thinks about we're doing. We're doing it because we want to do that. Men have wisened up. Men have said, we're not going to do this to have a fight with someone, right? To be in constant conflict with someone. But we're going to be smart and we're going to be frugal with our money. Yes, you have to be frugal and smart with spending it, meaning spending it on the right things. And that's what guys are starting to awaken to. And that's what guys are starting to do, because we've all realized there's definitely more to life than doing anything that's not that.